Hello everyone, Bobby here from XGR, and today we're going to review Dreamworks' Dragon's Dawn of New Riders. Just a quick disclaimer, code was provided for the purpose of this review by the publisher. With that being said, let's just jump straight into it. So Dreamworks' Dragon's Dawn of New Riders is obviously set in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. The character that you play as is called Scribbler. I haven't seen him before in any of the other films, and he is joined by his new dragon Patch, who is a hybrid of different types of dragons, so he has abilities of ice, electric and fire. Throughout the game, Patch will evolve and you'll be able to use all of these abilities. They'll also be needed when you're taking care of the puzzles across the different islands. There's 3 main islands in the game with 6 side islands. Every one of the main islands is split into 2 parts. It has a campsite and then it has a ruin section. Throughout them you'll find chests which are scattered around the islands in hidden special areas. Within the chests you'll be able to find different types of in-game currency, whether you use it to buy potions or buffers from Astrid. The potions consist of a small health potion, medium or large. Buffers are Yaknog, which is a boost defense, porridge, which boosts your attack, and beetroot, which will boost your speed. You can also go to Gobba to buy upgrades for your weapons, which would consist of your hammer, axe or sword. These can all be upgraded up to 3 times. In the end, the hammer becomes the flaming Ironbreaker. It causes enemies to catch fire. Your axe will become the electric Stormcrasher. Again, will cause enemies to be electrocuted. And your sword will become the freezing Whipfang, which freezes enemies. You'll need a mixture of different things to upgrade these weapons. There'll be different ores that you collect in game. And the final upgrade will be a dragon artifact for the specific weapon. These can be found on the side islands, which we talked about a little bit earlier. To get yourself around from island to island, you can't fly. I was a little bit disappointed because the flying aspect of the game I thought would have been more campaign based rather than just jumping from island to island. I thought there would have been tasks whilst you are flying your dragon, and maybe even a multiplayer where you would have been able to face off against other players whilst flying your dragon. But unfortunately you could just jump from island to island with it. Now the map isn't exactly huge either. Each individual island differs in size and some of them are quite large, but the actual map when you're flying around is quite small. When you're flying you can do barrel rolls and you can hover across the water, but there's nothing else really to do other than go to other islands. There's a few things that you can see on the way. You might see the odd Viking ship, but that's pretty much it. Now within the game you are following a story. You're chasing a character known as Air, who is basically trapping dragons by using this green goo, which is in vials, and you'll find it around dragons' necks, hanging off the wings. If you ever find a dragon like that, you have to smash the vials and free the dragon. This character runs from island to island whilst you're chasing them until obviously the final showdown at the end of the game. The campaign itself was quite small. I was expecting, I think the price tag is about £35, and I was expecting a larger campaign for what I got. I'd started playing it, and when I was a few hours in I realised that I was already halfway through the game. I would have preferred something that was more like a 10 to 15 hour game, especially for that price point, but unfortunately it's more like a 6 hour, and that's stretching it at best. Unfortunately the game is not Xbox One X enhanced, and you can tell it doesn't look far from something from one of the previous generation consoles. The audio was a bit of a letdown. Characters make a grunting noise and dragons seem to do a slight growl. You constantly hear music playing in the background, which is set from the How to Train Your Dragon universe. You can tell when you hear it, and that was quite nice, but I would have liked some voiceovers of characters for this game. Especially with the new film coming out, you'd have thought that there'd have been a little bit more put into it. But overall, the campaign itself was quite enjoyable. Some of the puzzles were quite in depth, and you'd have to run into different areas depending where you were and unlock things and then run back. You had to use certain tools that you got, whether it be your sword to cut down vines, or you would use your hammer to hammer large blocks along. It was kind of like a maze puzzle where you would have to hammer the block into a certain area so it sat on a pressure pad. There was also other puzzles where you would have to switch between characters and leave one on a pressure pad whilst the other one ran through all the way, and then you'd manage to take the other one back through with you.
As well as the puzzles, you'll also come across many enemy Vikings throughout the game. The fighting skills are quite easy. It is just a case of pressing X or holding X and then releasing it for a large attack. When you're just tapping it, it gives you a quick small attack. This is for both Scribbler and Patch. Scribbler obviously uses the weapons that I've mentioned earlier, whereas Patch will fire out an ice blast or an electric blast depending which one you have selected. You can also call in dragons when you're fighting. These are the ones that you've saved on the smaller islands. Those will help you out along the way. They can also bring aid to you if it is required. Pretty much it is very simple. So it was quite enjoyable, but unfortunately it was very, very short. As I touched earlier when I was talking about the flying around, I would have liked to have seen some sort of multiplayer element, especially when flying the dragons. And with the price tag being around about £35, I did enjoy it, but it did feel extremely overpriced for what it was. With all of that being said, I'm going to score this 5 out of 10. So this has been my review for Dreamworks Dragon's Dawn of New Riders. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to stick a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.